things were not dropped. We still got stuff proceeding as it were. But where it was at the end of the last chapter, we know that the curses are debating whether or not to actually like bring back Sukuna, and that makes me very curious to know, like, if they're kind of still on the fence about it, then what will be the driving factor? Is it specifically Jogo because Jogo wants to do it, and Mahito knows that after experiencing Sukuna firsthand, that just because Sukuna is brought back doesn't mean it's instantly good for them, because Sukuna can easily turn on them. Like, Sukuna is definitely out for himself and very quick to like turn on other curses, whereas Jogo's like saying how even if something happens to them with Sukuna back, it will bring about like the next era of curses, and they can become the true humans. So I'm guessing that we're gonna find out more about like what drives Jogo and like his whole character and his this whole like stuff about being true humans. That's probably why at least he's still alive. I'm mad about Hanami. I wish Hanami was. I really liked Hanami, but unfortunately for me, the dude is just bloody paste on a wall. Whereas with Mahito, he's saying that they're pretty much going to leave it up to chance. So he's going to say if he encounters Yuji first, he's going to try and kill him. If Jogo encounters him first, then he can offer in the fingers to restore Sukuna. Obviously, Choso wants to be on the side to kill Yuji as well, because for them, they're saying like with Satoru out of the picture, they have a massive like level up advantage now, because even though we've seen like the curses, they've taken some hands to him. Like for Jogo and Hanami specifically, got beat up pretty bad by Satoru, but that's Satoru, and he's a super big deal and much more comparable to these other characters, like Yuji or Nanami and whatnot. But which I think is going to be really cool once we like see more of those fights, or someone like Jogo, who we've only really seen against Satoru Gojo, and like Satoru being Satoru, like Jogo wasn't really a challenge to him. Whereas any of these other kind of characters, then he's kind of he's going to be much more of a threat. Like that, I think the only other one there that I could think of that would be able to potentially fight him, because Jogo is a special grade, is the leader of the Zenin clan. I think his name is Obito. The guy, the mustache dude hanging out with Maki and Kugisaki. Not a nice dude. But then after that point, we have the two girls that were part of Geto's crew. Forgot their name off the top of my head. I'll have to look for it, but you know who they are. He's the one that he ended up rescuing them, and they were there when he decided the night he turned on the Jujutsu college and just kind of decided to go on his own. Like they were gonna get like killed and like by these villagers, and they're only alive because of Geto's savior of them, and how much he wants to help all these other people, these other sorcerers specifically. And she's like, one of them is like saying how they cooperated with them and they kept killing the monkeys, which, knowing, obviously in relation to Geto, that's what he referred to non-sorcerers, straight called the monkeys, which, so we still have that point still in there. But I like this side plot now of these girls wanting to get Geto's body back. And we saw, like, in the previous chapter that his soul is still like in some way attached to this body. So maybe if they get the brain invader out of it, they can find a way to bring him back, possibly, which I am hoping so. I really like Geto and I would like to see him return. But now he's like saying, oh, I'm not gonna do that. I mean, you guys should have done a binding vow if you really wanted for me to hold up my end of the bargain. These girls they know that they can't win against him, so they're just gonna kind of pull out, and they're like, you're gonna regret this. We're not gonna let you live this down. And from that, he's like saying, oh, regret. I've forgotten what that feels like. He seems a bit interested in the idea of getting that. And again, this character very old. I still am going with being the OG, the original Kamo Noritoshi. And one of my friends pointed out something very interesting is on his head. Like in the panel that you originally see him, you can't see his forehead, so maybe he has those stitch lines there too. And the brain invader was in said body at that point as well. And then you have Yuji, who's he's confronted back with Megumi, and I think the guy was named Ino. I think the guy with the little bandana, and then Nanami, and he's just like shouting, trying to find them. And Megumi just comes up and smacks him on the back of the head. He's like, "Hey, hey, dude, come, we're right here." But now they're explaining essentially that with the whole capturing of Satoru, that things are really kind of gonna look bad because the Gojo family is now like without their largest asset, and like he's pretty much a one-man team in these scenarios, and that they only really need Satoru in a lot of these. But also now the balance of power is going to collapse, which is going to be very dangerous because, like as we saw with both Yuta and Yuji, the only reason they kept some of these guys alive was because Satoru threatened to rebel against any of the more higher up like political characters within the Jujutsu College, and they couldn't go against Satoru. He was just that powerful and that much of a threat if they ended up crossing him. But also on top of that, they're going to have a lot of curse users and curse spirits who have been hiding because the fear of Satoru, and now they're going to come out. And we actually end up getting a couple of these characters at the end of the chapter. Oh, we got this I really like this spread. I'm going to use it for the thumbnail, but it's got all these characters all split apart in their own panels, and the prison realm cube with Satoru in it. That's kind of like centered in it. So my guess is, if I had to pick just one answer, because I don't think they're going to. Oh, this is a side note. You have the cursed spirit, the one with the tentacle face that we haven't seen anything about yet. But I'm interested to see like how he actually does something. But my one guess, if it can to be, is I think they're gonna get the prison realm with Satoru back, but they're not gonna have a way to. They're not gonna have a way to undo the seal. But maybe they'll either develop a way to communicate with Satoru in there, or it'll be more of like characters talking to the cube, almost like they're having a conversation with Satoru. Like talking to, like when you see a character talking to the grave of somebody they knew, or even though they're talking to the grave, they're imagining what some of these people would say in response, just because they know them so well. But then we see like these weird characters at the end of the chapter. We got this old lady and this short, like muscular old dude. Looks like he's got a knife or something in his hand. Lady's got like these kind of like screen barrier, like it's like set up, and then this very tall guy behind him with a mohawk, I would imagine. But very strange people who are now like saying how they're interested now that Satoru has been sealed, and now they looks like these guys are gonna make their move because they don't know what's gonna happen in this country. But they're saying the old lady's like change. They're gonna get cursed. They're saying they're gonna get cursed and he cursed and die. So I'm guessing like maybe you find out some of these other groups, because we know something kind of like, what was it, Q and the star plasma vessel like associated. Is that what they're called? I have to go back and look at the flashback. You know what I'm talking about. Just any of these other groups that exist in the series and exist in the world, but they aren't active because they know like the threat that Satoru Gojo just is as a single man. But now that he's sealed, things are going to start to get a little bit more hectic and get a little bit wild. So, pretty quick to read chapter. I mean, most of it was, interactions between some of these characters, just addressing the situation and really just addressing the severity of what's to come. Well, other than that, I'd really appreciate you to comment below. Tell me your thoughts are about this chapter. Tell me your thoughts about what's coming up and what you think happened. I really appreciate a thumbs up the video, the like button, subscribe button, and check out my other videos. But I appreciate everybody's subscribes, and I thank you all for listening. Bye.